the glory that could be. I guess we're just sitting down like a couple of professionals.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even put a title on that. I'm going to fix that while we're in live production.
All right. Are we live now?
Yeah.
Are we?
Oh, I didn't get the music. In the morning, Doug and John. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Doug. Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
You know how we have different orifices?
Yes, you and I, or a human being?
Well,
is this a commentary about that we're becoming one?
no.
Share so much?
Well, I mean, we have the same orifices, but we don't share them.
Okay. We have different orifices together?
There's 5.
There are 5 orifices.
And there's 5 on a women as well, but
Orify?
They're different. Anyway, I was thinking about how these earbuds have probably been in many people's ears, have been in your ears.
They have been in my ears.
And I will take these and I will just plant them in my ears with no thought whatsoever. Just cram those babies in there.
Yeah.
But if I were to drink out of the same straw as you, I would throw up in my mouth.
I think when it comes to Orify, whatever multiple orifices are, there does seem to be a difference.
Yes.
Like the saliva-producing ones,
yes.
The excrement-producing ones.
Yes.
And your ears seem to be...
And the pleasure-producing ones?
Yes.
The nose is what I was... Right.
Right. You're back to your commentary on your cocaine habit.
The smells, good. You've got to earn access to some of those.
Oh.
Anyway, that's what I was thinking about on my way to... I was going to say on my way to church this morning. Honestly, I was going to say that.
Really? What do you think? Oh, see, deep down, John, you're really... you really want to be back in the flow.
Still infected.
You really want to be back in it. Well, hey, a lot going on last night around here. Thanks for coming to my birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice of you.
You told me that you were not going to have one.
I did?
Yeah. So when I got your text, I'm like, well, okay.
Oh. Yeah, I was unsure this year about a birthday celebration. Last 2 years have been significant enterprises. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, I turned 50.
Right.
And made a big to-do out of it. Multiple days, raised a bunch of money for kids in Guatemala, ran 50 miles, had a cookout, not cookout. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Michael. It was not a cookout.
Michael's?
It was a meat preparation extravaganza. It was extraordinary. It was 5 days worth of activities. And then last year, I had my hip done on my birthday. Hip done, like a person that
right.
like a guy that went in to have his eyes tucked.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. Yes.
They made a 9-inch incision down my hip.
I haven't seen that scar yet.
Really?
Yeah,
it's right here. I'll show it to you.
Nice.
Yeah, I showed it to anybody. I showed it last night to the people at my birthday party. So then this year, I was a little confused about what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I've got a lot of work that I'm doing right now. Some really important things I feel like to try to save democracy, and it just sort of felt like I don't know. It was just I didn't think I wanted to have a birthday.
Did you not think you were worthy?
No, I don't think this is going to come as a surprise to people who know me well. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of birthdays. I don't value them. I think it's sort of the lowest grade of something you could celebrate another person for.
Because everyone's got one?
Everyone has one. You have one every year. And you had very little to do with it.
Yeah.
Like you've just been taken on your birthday.
Right.
Your mother had an awful lot to do with it. Your dad, a small amount to do with it. But your mom really was the hero of that story. And yet in the middle of it, kids beg their moms then to give them more gifts. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to
Yeah,
me.
life wasn't enough. I want a PlayStation.
That's right. Yeah. Me,
And then you feel obligated because you're like, well, I guess I am responsible for bringing this thing along here.
you carrying me along and then pushing me out of your body with the sheer strength of your will.
Hey, I
and your
didn't ask to be
abdomen.
here. Okay. I mean, that was your guys' thing.
Yeah. So I don't think so,
So
much
give me
birthdays.
the gaming system.
But I do think they're a really good excuse.
Very
reason.
Jehovah's Witness of you, Doug.
It's a good.
There's only one important birthday.
Is that why Jehovah's Witnesses don't do birthdays? Is it because they only?
I do not know. Okay, I'm just mocking something I don't know. They don't celebrate birthdays. That much is true. See, I'm like half true, half false. That's what it is.
Well, that's the ultimate in mocking something you don't know about. You know just enough to get a foot in the door,
Right.
and then that's your invitation.
Yeah, I'll take some mocking with extra asshole, please.
So I don't think so much of birthdays, but anyway, yesterday was very nice. Nice excuse to have some fun, and it was delightful. So and I feel like the two of us somehow on this Friday have had a Freaky Friday switch. I feel a little groggy and out of it because of acting childish and immature last night, and I'm a little dehydrated, if you know what I mean. And you are a little wound up and off put because you have huge work responsibilities to get to this morning at 7 a.m. when we start this.
Just as you can see, this balance is not sustainable.
What is going on? I would ask.
Hey,
the universe.
I actually ran a mile yesterday, Doug.
Okay. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I did.
I tried and I couldn't because my calf pulled. What is happening?
All right. Actually, it was more like a drunken zombie amble.
I'll take it.
Robin left to catch the bus, and then I realized that she had the car keys. And so
that's
I
awesome.
took off running to her bus stop in my funeral shoes, in my pants that always feel like they're unzipped, sans belt, and my black Calvin Klein shirt with snap buttons and
that's
pocket
fantastic.
accent. Anyway, so I bolted, and fortunately it was a little bit downhill. It's like 3 blocks. And so I was just
No.
hauling
way.
it. Yep. And then she wasn't there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's another bus stop that she could possibly have gone to equidistance from my house. So I had to run back to I'm like, and the bus is it's minutes away from picking her up. So I run back to the house, and then there's like no way I could do that again. So then I ran to the garage, got on my bike, and biked the 4 blocks the other way, and she was not there.
She wasn't.
No, so I ended up having to take an Uber. Now, had I biked home and had I like fallen into a water-filled sinkhole, or maybe ran into a tepid kiddie pool, I would have had my own like triathlon right there.
Yeah, I was thinking you were going to say that I got home and took a bath and I called it a triathlon. Okay, so this sounds like how the plot to the entire TV show 24 would be changed if people had a working cell phone.
Yes.
Why didn't you just call her from one of your more mobile devices to the other?
I could not get a hold of her.
Is that a concerning thing in and of itself?
No. Oh, she's probably, I don't know. She probably has in her purse. She's walking. I don't know. I was in a panic, Doug. Come on. It's going to be late for this job.
I don't know. I just if you can't reach someone on their phone, that's another level of panic.
They're just gone to you.
Yeah.
That's like, well, what can you do?
They've disappeared. They're like the unspoken ones.
That's right.
Disappeared into the landscape. Hey, John, I'm going off to California today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to California. So, Wheels
Keep
Up.
Going to California by Led Zeppelin. There's a song. It's a really very nice song. You should listen to that.
Really?
It'll make you cry on the plane, Doug.
It will make okay. It will. And I'm going to see my friends out there. We're helping to start a little community. So if anybody's listening and is in the Palo Alto, Mountain View, Los Altos, San Jose area, that area, a
Yeah.
lot comes out of there.
Yeah. Oh,
Apple,
yeah.
Google, YouTube, all that stuff. All those cats. They call that the Silicon Valley. Some word I just said made...
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Something I said made Alexa
Thank you for informing us of your
light up.
random ignorance.
light up, and that should be the name of our show. I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Maybe it was one of those Spanish names or something like that that you said.
Oh, you think maybe I said it and it was?
I don't know.
Well, hey, I'm doing some thinking about Donald Trump, partly because I'm terrified for the future of our country. I can't remember if we had the freedom to talk about, or if we were informed yet to talk about the Supreme Court justices last time we chatted.
We did.
But boy, that's really.
Is it starting to weigh on you?
Well, here's why. Here's why this has got me worked up, and this is why. So I want Donald Trump to be. I think he has committed impeachable offenses, and if I were a congressperson, I would be personally calling for impeachment proceedings already, because I think it's clear, just from what I know, and I don't know much, that from my standards, he has crossed the line into impeachable offenses. So if here's what's got me thrown. If Robert Mueller and that whole investigation has already determined a whole set of things, facts and implications that will, when they come out, cause the people of the Congress and of the United States to say, Donald Trump cannot remain president any longer. If they know those things, to continue to move forward and allow him to function currently as the president and make decisions that will have implications for years and decades seems to me to be something that a person of good conscience couldn't support. Right?
Yeah.
So, because here's the thing that happens. People say, I hear this on the news all the time, at least the news channels I choose to listen to, ABC, NBC, occasionally a little CBS, MSNBC, CNN, NPR, that crowd. Like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times, these are ones that I read on a regular basis, right? So that crowd, not only super crazies, but that crowd too.
Sure.
That I listen to. They'll all say things like this. Do you think Mike Flynn is going to flip on Trump? Do you think Michael Cohen is going to flip on Trump? Do you think Paul Manafort is going to flip on Trump? John, if I were arrested by the FBI, no one would say, do you think Doug's going to flip on John Musick? No one suspects you of a crime. There's no, in all of our cohorting, there's nothing hanging over you that would cause someone to say that me being arrested,
knocking on wood,
that they know yet. Right. Yes, right, totally. I'm really baiting fate on this one, aren't I?
Back up a little bit, will you? There might be something out there.
I should have used someone else. No one would say, is he going to flip on John Bradley?
There you go.
Because there's not a presumption that there's something to flip on. So if Donald Trump has done things that would cause the public and Congress to say he is not fit to be president, and they already know it, why are we allowing him to go ahead and make choices like for Supreme Court justices to pull us out of the Iran deal, to invoke a trade war, to pass immigration arrest priorities?
Make alliances with dictators?
Why are we... So here's where my worry comes. Not just that someday we're going to look back and say, well, we kind of missed some protocol. Donald Trump actually shouldn't have gotten to do that, and you're going to have to, we're playing a game of Monopoly.
Right.
You have to return Baltic Avenue because we realized that you didn't. This isn't some board game. The thing that's got me worried is that Mueller doesn't have enough.
Yeah.
That's what's got me worried. It seems impossible to me that Mueller could have this level of information and still allow him to continue for months now. Now I sound like the trumpeters.
Yeah,
it's time to wrap this thing up.
That's right, yeah.
But if he knows this and it's knowable, I can't, under what, and if it's true that he has the goods on him, it's got him dead to rights or whatever kind of, inflammatory language you want to use. Boy, and then we're going to let him go off and act as if his role of being the president is legitimate. the thing Trump is worried about from the very beginning is that the legitimacy of his presidency would be under attack if he acknowledges that Russia preferred him and acted in such a way as to influence the election. Mm-hmm. It's all been about legitimacy. And the thing that's... So that's just got me totally...
Yeah, I mean, and I guess there is probably in a lot of progressive liberal hearts the hope that that there's just such a fire hose of damning evidence that it's just taking this long to process everything.
Right, but okay, so this is a bad analogy, but it feels like somebody says, I think my babysitter has been stealing from me. And I think my babysitter has been not treating my children safely. And I think my babysitter might be showing up late and stepping out when my kids are home. I got to check on all those things. Now, I've got 2 of those I'm pretty sure about. But that third one, I need to wrap that one up before I say, hey, you're not my babysitter any longer. You're not taking care of the kids any longer. If the story is he's got this and this and this, he's just working on this, that, and the other thing, and the this, and this is not enough, is enough for people to lose confidence and therefore trust in their government, because what we are fundamentally in this country, at its basic core, is a government of the people, by the people, for the people, who grant to our government the right to make decisions on our behalf. We don't live in a system by which somebody who's in authority, governmental authority, has power. We grant that power to them through our representatives and through a series of checks and balances. So the whole beautiful system of governing that we've got here always has one branch of government giving the other branch of government its due power through a process by which individuals will access the ability to execute that power. That's the whole storyline. So if we ever lose confidence in someone, say the EPA cabinet member, Pruitt, he's just going to go at some point. Now, he did apparently yesterday or the day before, so he's going. That's how it works. That's the representative nature of government. It's not just that they ask us things and ask our opinions. It's that they represent our interests in this process. So, if the populace loses confidence in the president, then Congress is supposed to do something about it if those have risen to some sort of a high enough level.
Well, I mean, the whole, I mean, this is just just points out just the absolute need, for people to participate and to vote in all of these elections, not just for the president, but the midterm elections is almost is equally important. I mean, it's what stymied the Obama administration, and it's what's granted permission for Trump to do whatever he wants. That's the only hope. I mean, aside from Mueller breaking open the pinata of bad news.
That's a great image. Somebody should create that. Some big Trump pinata and somebody with a Mueller bat, and they're swinging at it. Well, that's partly why some of us are involved in this effort called Vote Common Good, which is to travel the country and do our part with the small subset of the community of United States citizenry that we can influence, the religiously motivated voters whose faith keeps them from supporting these jokers any longer, and came up with a new phrase in our little set of the this. And by the way, folks, go to votecommongood.com, and you're going to love it. And there's a feature on there that people should try. It's the donate button. It's really slick. I'd love for people to try it and push it all the way through, like go all the way through the process of the donate button. It's really great.
For the record, that was a unintended segue into your common good thing. So I think I need to get like a little spiff from that.
Yeah, you'll get a little touch.
Okay.
Any contributions that come in the next 18 minutes, you'll get a 3%.
Come on, America.
3%. But we're traveling the country, 46 congressional districts in our current map, 25 states, John, 16,000 miles. In a bus, like one of those concert buses, band buses, sleeper, 12-person sleeper buses, and we're imploring people for the love of this country, for the love of your faith, if you hold one, rise up. But we got these three categories of peoples, types of peoples.
Is one of them deplorables?
No, but they're very clever like that, though. Faithful voters, and it's -FULL. So people whose faith is motivating them to do something about this renegade presidency. The newly enraged voters, instead of the newly engaged. I feel very clever about that one. These are the people who said, that's enough. I haven't been involved in politics before, but this is my time. I'm going to raise my voice. I'm going to take my stand, and this one matters. This is probably the most important election of many of our lifetimes was in November of 2016. And I sure hope people feel like if they could climb into a time machine, at least 71,000 of them across 3 states, they could change that. The second most important election, I think, is going to be presidential election of 2020. That's going to be a serious, serious referendum on this country. Hopefully, people won't have the same issues about how much they despised Hillary hanging over it and all the other clouding rationalizations, and it will seem crystal clear to repudiate the Trump administration as in its current behavior, not just in its promises, which all people had to bank on in 2016 was what he was saying. Now in 2020, there's going to be an actual, like, do you want this to keep going?
Yeah.
And if this country says yes to that, I don't know. The consequences are unbelievable for me personally, and I'm sure for other people who are vulnerable in this country to this nonsense. But the third most important election, I know this sounds like an Austin Power ad. Remember when that Austin Powers movie came out?
Yeah.
You remember that little ad they did?
Maybe not, no.
If you only see one movie this summer, see Star Wars. If you're going to see 2 movies this summer, make one of them Austin Powers. It was very touche to the fact that you're not going to. But so the third most important election, midterms 2018, November 6, 2018. Anyway.
Hey, Doug, you like wieners?
Very much. Had one last night.
At 6'1" and 230 pounds, at the age of 35, this July 4th, Joey Chestnut won his 11th Nathan Hot Dog Eating Championship in Coney Island.
Wow.
In New York. He consumed 74 hot dogs and their buns. See,
you got to see somebody about that. You're going to hurt yourself one of these days.
Well, they'd have to come here when it happens, so they can.
We could.
I guess we've got photographic evidence.
We could. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But we could recreate it too, like the sleep studies where they have the people just go sleep in a place. Set up.
Here's the mock podcast studio. So he consumed 74 hot dogs and their buns in 12 minutes.
Wow.
Thus setting a new world record. People were thinking that he was kind of on the decline as far as the.
Sure they were. Yeah.
Eating
after a decade of winning.
That's right. That's right. And he had this rivalry with I think Kashimoto might have been Tashi Kashimoto, who was another competitive eater who had beaten Joey Chestnut before and
like a decade ago.
Yeah, a decade ago, right. And he has other world records. In 2006, he ate 15 pounds of shrimp cocktail in 8 minutes. In May in 2014,
the mercury level in that guy has got to be through the roof.
Yeah. In May of 2014, he ate 12.8 pounds of deep fried asparagus in 10 minutes.
Oh, lightly breaded?
I'm not, maybe tempura.
Yeah.
Could you imagine your urine the next day?
for the next 6 months.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, you'd be in a public place. You'd be in a public urinal. People would be looking over and be like, I'm a professional food eater. I had an asparagus
He ate
episode.
14 pounds of pork rib meat in 12 minutes one time. He ate 78 matzo balls in 8 minutes in one competition. He ate 70 bratwursts in 10 minutes in Cincinnati in 2013 and 141 hard-boiled eggs in 8 minutes in Kentucky.
Oh, the hard-boiled eggs.
Yes. 141 in 8 minutes.
I mean, that feels to me even more impressive than the hot dog situation.
Yeah, I think
Those
he's
slimy, and the way they hit your mouth, and like, how do you crunch those so one doesn't just shoot right down your throat? Stuffing those in there.
Oh, that's the goal.
To not chew them.
Well, there's a little mastication before it goes down the gullet, but there's not much. But they're expert. He's the best in the world.
I bet he's got a full set of teeth. I don't think you'd have a chance at that.
If you've seen him smile, you'd know his teeth are real. He's considered the greatest competitive eater in the world by Major League Eating, the main competitive eating organization. He also ate 121 Twinkies in 8 minutes one time.
Wow.
Mr. Chestnut is single, and he's worth $800,000.
He's single.
He's single, yeah.
Huh. What does he eat the other times? Do you know? Did you find anything? Like, what's his daily?
But he does have has a pregame routine.
Oh,
that involves road work. He does he runs, and then he I don't know what he eats beforehand, but then he fasts the day before the competition. So he must do some stomach stretching. I don't know.
Does he? After these, does he expel this food, or does he let it sit in his stomach and make his?
I'm glad you brought that up because we watched it live. It was on the 4th of July. Yeah, on one of these channels.
What do you mean you watched it live?
We watched it live, and it was incredible. I'm serious.
Was it on a computer screen or a television screen? It's televised?
ESPN2, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. And it's very intense. But afterwards, they're putting all these mics in his faces for his commentary, and he's like, "Oh, I felt great," and he wanted to do 75 hot dogs, but he only did.
And what did he do?
74.
74.
Right.
And what was the time again? Because I've lost now the numbers.
In 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
The nearest competitor was like 20 hot dogs away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did he go last, or did he blow out the field at the start?
No, well, it's there's 30 people in a line, and there's a judge in front of each one, and there's a judge in back of them. And the judge in front is supposed to tell them how many they've done, so far. And then they've got cups of water because they cram the hot dogs in, and then they take a wad of bun, and they dip it in the water, squeeze the water, and then eat it. Because they want to compress that bun to nothing.
So the hot dog is not placed in the bun when they're eating them?
No, the hot dog is along with 12 others in their fist as they're shoving them down their throats.
Wow.
So they're interviewing him afterwards. He said, "Oh, I felt great. Hey, I did wonderful. I wanted to go for 75, And then we for whatever reason, we turned the volume off, and he's giving these interviews and stuff. Sheer agony on the guy's face. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing great. It's really fantastic. I really did a great job." But not affecting his voice, but his face is pained and full of misery. So,
that's just the price of
being the best.
Yeah, being the best.
What was that? What was that ding? What's going on here?
It's. I don't know if everybody heard that. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Was it just me? An angel got her wings.
Right, or farted.
It's notifications, and I need them to stop coming. So I'm going to put it on Do Not Disturb.
All right, very good.
The integration of phone to computer to one's brain is fully in. It's fully in force right now. I mean,
absolutely,
it's happening. We're just merging. My devices are now merged. I don't remember where I thought of something or wrote it. It's just, and there's dinging that happens. It's just.
The pad and paper industry is really suffering from that.
Well, that's that is impressive. What, of the 12, now I'm intrigued by the television production value of all this. What else do they cover other than the 12 minutes? Like while they're stuffing the hot dogs in their mouths,
right.
over this 12 minutes, is there a commentator like there is on the Olympics when they're having to describe what the person's doing?
Oh yeah, there's a commentator, a color man, and it is that it's like they're calling a horse race.
Wow, but 12 minutes. I mean, that's a long time for to watch a single activity of people putting.
And I think that's why they have like a large field. There's other competitive eaters that are competing as well.
So they're cutting to different.
I mean, these people are shoulder to shoulder, and it's seemed like about 30 people up on a dais, with a table in front of them, and then they got a swing arm camera that's going down, racing back and forth from end to end, and wow, and you get a little information on every notable. Competitive eater, and I'm sure they have 7.5 minutes of
prepared banter.
This is highlights, of the personal stories of the competitive eaters. I don't know. I didn't see that part. I just saw the eating part of the competition. But I know, they're at home, frying an egg. I'm not always a maniac when when I eat, or I don't know, some guy playing with his kids.
That storyline.
Yeah.
Well, if they can make that something interesting for television, that's important. They probably use some of the soccer producers.
Well, I'm telling you, it is some of the more. Not just as interesting, like some of the most interesting television. I'm telling you, this is awesome. This was awesome, and we just wandered into it. We just we're having breakfast, turn on the TV, and
there it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
what do you got, Doug?
Well, a news story that is not as encouraging as that. These poor little sweet boys in Thailand trapped in that cave.
We used to have once every 3 years, you'd have a kid trapped in a hole story when we were kids.
Trapped in a well, usually. Yeah.
Something like that.
Very scary like that.
And then here's this. This is
just, we've really stepped it up.
Exactly.
It's the biggest and the best ever.
This is like Michael Bay produced this kid trapped in a hole story.
It's simply incredible. The whole thing. I've only followed it. I haven't seen any news stories. I've only followed it in written stories about it.
Yeah,
with little maps and so on.
Right.
But they're 6.5 miles, 10 kilometers in from the entry.
Right. Yeah.
The thing I'm totally unclear about is what they were doing in there, other than just looking around. And then the waters came quickly and raised, and they couldn't get out. That's the storyline, right?
Right. Well, they were with with their soccer coaches or something like that. So I'm not sure if this isn't something that is kind of known. This little trip that you can do underground.
I have heard this. I've heard that it's something that people have been doing for a long time, decades, and there's serious warnings within the culture and community there to not do this.
Yeah,
and these kids are pretty adventurous. This is one of the Thai reporters' descriptions. So they're kind of brave kids with their coach. Speaking of a guy that's going to be in trouble when he gets out.
Yeah, he's going to get a tongue lashing from those parents.
Yeah, he's going to. His LinkedIn profile is going to reflect this.
Right.
I mean, this is the kind of thing about back to the bit about Trump that it's got me nervous. No one's going to say, well, what else did the guy do? I mean, sure, he led
it's not like he
band of children into a exit free cave complex, but Elon Musk to the rescue. I mean, he's just turning himself into that superhero right out of the movies.
Yeah, Tony Stark.
He is sending his engineers. He's dispatching his engineers to go see if they can figure out how to get these kids out. Because yesterday or day before, one of the divers died trying to get oxygen into him.
No way.
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
So one of the Thai Navy SEALs
Yeah.
was trying to bring supplies in, including oxygen, and himself ran out of oxygen. Because apparently they have to swim underwater for quite a distance.
There's a pinch point near the beginning where you can't pass through with oxygen tanks. So you have to swim like maybe a mile and a half, and then you've got to take a deep breath, take your tanks off, squeeze through this little hole.
Oh my gosh!
And then free swim the rest of the way. That's why like, well, why can't they just put scuba gear on them and send them out? Well, there's this formation that you can't get through. It's only the size of a human body, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. This is just.
I didn't hear about that. That's
yeah. Really tragic. So it's very much raised the fears of observers. These poor kids.
I mean, there's just no way that these kids can die. It just can't happen. The world can't let that happen.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? Yeah, terrible.
Hey, Doug.
Jeez, I mean, Mr. Post-birthday depression guy over here, right?
Whiz, no kidding. Did you pick that up this morning when you groggily woke up and go, yes.
Woke up. Been up.
Hey, did you hear that lions kill suspected rhino poachers who sneaked into a South African game reserve?
I did read that story. Yes.
Yeah, they...
somehow that just feels good. I don't know why.
The anti-rhino poaching force was dispatched to an area where they found body parts strewn all about. They don't know how many, but they think at least they found 3 sets of boots and a long rifle.
We sounded like the Canadian Broadcasting Network.
Oh,
right
yeah.
There.
Oh,
3
sorry.
sets of boots.
And a hatchet.
Oh, sorry.
That they used to hack the horn off the rhino. Yeah, so that's how they knew there was poachers.
So these poachers are coming in to try to get the rhinos. So I have no empathy, sympathy, or connection to people that want to hunt, full stop, or want to kill big game animals especially. Having said that.
Okay, I agree with 50% of that statement, but go ahead.
Having said that, hunting a rhino, that's dangerous business. Like rhinos they're not
Yeah, they're not
cute.
Welcoming.
No, they're aggressive animals. So these people are, and then to have that concern, and then to be hunted down by the lair or whatever of lions, a pride of lions.
Yeah, they said that when they were
was it on Pride weekend? Because that would really be.
Just the expression on Doug's face is just
felt really clever.
Yeah, so I mean they heard the lions kind of I don't know who heard them or whatever, but they were discovered the bodies were discovered like at 4:00 in the morning, and so it was believed that the poachers were out there like at 2 a.m. or something, and they said usually even the people around there we don't walk around here.
Yeah, right. There's lions.
And rhinos. It's not, so that everyone drives around in trucks and stuff. But these poachers were, trying to be stealthy but not as stealthy as a pride of ravenous lions.
Mm. And it's, and any time that life is taken for some endeavors is sad, but something feels right about if a poacher's is going to die, that it would happen being poached by the lions when they're trying to poach the rhinos. There's some kind of sick justice that I like in that.
But the downside of it is that there's probably kids that were sent out to do this by, the people. I don't know, but it just seems weird that you would kill this gigantic animal just for, a pound of stuff that's supposed to make you horny. I mean, come on.
Yeah, what are they? What are they using rhino parts for? I know there's the. Is it out of the horn or is it out of the testicles? What are they? Where
it's on the horn.
The horn is where they're getting the horny making.
Yeah, the aphrodisiac.
Isn't that great that to give something to create your sensual pleasures such a sophisticated name?
Yeah,
like it's called both a horny pill on one side and an aphrodisiac on the other. Like very sophisticated, and then it's something.
Some orifices are more noble than others, apparently.
Man, I was in a bathroom at a gas station somewhere around here. Maybe I don't think I was traveling. I don't think this was like an on the road driving place.
Okay,
and on the wall behind the toilet. That I was forced to use, non-urinal, but standing up. So facing the wall.
It had a sink?
No, but my friend, Shane Claiborne, has a sink on the back of his toilet. Have you seen those?
No. Is he in prison?
No. Well, it has been, yeah. We were together. But at his house, so imagine the back of your toilet, right, with the little lid on it that covers the toilet tank.
Yes.
And you set your Kleenex or your
beer.
Candle, your beer.
Or your bong, whatever you're into when you got to pee.
When you got to pee. The thing she set back there. So imagine removing that and putting on top of it a little sink that's using the water.
Yeah.
That the same water that would go in that tank into the toilet, but it just comes up. Yeah. Comes out the faucet and drains back in. So after you use the toilet and you're going to then wash your hands, the water first comes up, washes your hands, and then goes in to flush the toilet.
Right.
So rather than using one set of water to flush
that
down,
gray water to
and then
flush
you use another one to wash your hands, it puts it all together. Genius.
So you got to like straddle the toilet while you wash your hands.
Well,
you're bending
the toilet's only 18 inches long, deep. So,
but the bowl's got to go between your legs to get to it, right? Or
well, if you have the alligator arms, yes.
Not everyone's got a 16-foot wingspan, Doug.
Extend your elbows. Well, a small child may have trouble. Put it this way: if you can reach a normal sink on a bathroom or kitchen, you can reach this thing. It's ingenious. What were we talking about right there when we got into the toilet bowl?
I don't know.
Somebody might remember the line of thought.
The poaching, and that led to aphrodisiac, and that led to I don't know. I have another story about a bear killing a man in Alaska and then mauling a rescuer.
Nature's fighting back. A bear attacked someone, and when help came...
This guy went for a walk, disappeared. Posters are put up everywhere, so people are kind of wandering out looking for him, thinking he might be lost in the woods or something like that. And, ends up, almost killing another person. And that alerted people to, hey, that here's the bear. And they found that the bear was guarding the body. Like, hey, don't mess with my, my future food. I had a friend, a former worship leader, whose sister was attacked by a mountain lion in California. Her last name used to be Yelly, Hjelle. Look her up. Look up, mountain lion Yelly. It's a shame that's what her association was. Really inspirational. She's like a former...
Was she killed by this mountain lion?
No, she's a former military person. And, is a fitness enthusiast. And was out, riding, their mountain bikes out in the somewhere in California, and mountain lion jumped and attacked her,
my goodness.
and pulled her away, and she survived, but they did find, I think, another person who had gotten killed by that same mountain lion. But just crazy that could. There's places where you could live where that could happen, where you could go for a walk and you could get attacked by a bear. It says that brown bears can measure almost 9 feet tall when standing up and weigh as much as 1,000 pounds, according to the National Park Service. Oh, and Alaskan brown bears are the largest. So 1,000 pounds.
And they're fast as can be, I bet. I bet when those things,
they got to sprint.
When they want to chase you, they can just explode with speed.
9 feet tall, Doug. Something that is foot taller than you.
I mean, if you're in an average house, the ceilings are 8 feet.
Right. It's busted its head up into the second floor.
It's looking around your bedroom. So I stand over this toilet. I remember now. And I was looking at the wall.
Lurching over it, probably.
Not to wash my hands, just using the restroom. And on the wall back there was one of those dispensers from like our childhood from the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with personal protection and pleasure items, and a coin slot, and the handle that you turn.
Yeah,
the whole shebang. Like this was a week ago. It's 2018, and in a men's restroom at a gas station, like a Super America. I actually think it might have been the Super America up here off of York Avenue.
Someone is stocking those. Someone is taking the coins out of those. There is a repairman who comes along and services those. And there's some place that's still making those new. There's a new condom dispenser coming off of the line as we speak.
Glow in the dark, the whole deal, all of it. Someone woke up and said, "Oh, I wonder if we have the right product for that." Incredible.
Jim, let me tell you, there's this new line coming out.
They have a display book.
Exactly.
Someone comes in and they're the regional rep. And they're flipping through a catalog.
I mean,
or swiping on an iPad.
I mean, as a kid, you saw those everywhere.
Oh my gosh! Cigarette machines and those things seem like they were.
How
everywhere.
much spontaneous sex is going on?
Yeah, right.
Where you're like, shit, I need change for $1 right now because I might get lucky later.
Yeah, and your choice of either protection or pleasure is happening at that truck stop, gas station.
Crazy.
Yep. And it looked like it was still in functioning order. Now maybe, well, no, they were updated. These images on there were not. They weren't. They were yellowed and curled as the
they were
people
from
who
the
used
70s.
them
They
might
were
be. No, they
drawings of.
They were updated.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, John.
In Lagos, Nigeria. Hey, don't ever get sick there. A woman was pronounced dead by paramedics at the scene of an accident. Is found alive and breathing in the morgue. Morgue technicians discovered the woman was breathing at the Carletonville morgue several hours after she was brought in by paramedics from the scene of a fatal car accident in southwest Johannesburg. An ambulance operator told a South African newspaper. The head of EMS, Garrett Bradnick, defended the paramedics, saying they followed all the protocols before they reported her dead. No. Except when your job is not to take living people to the morgue. You did not do everything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You couldn't say, we did all the things because you took a living person to the morgue.
The unnamed woman is now recuperating at a hospital in Johannesburg, and she showed no signs of life when found at the scene of the accident in June, he told a newspaper. This did not happen because our paramedics were not properly trained. There is no proof of any negligence by our crew.
Wow.
Except for the breathing person in the body bag.
Yeah,
that would be evidence of negligence.
Are you deep into South African news with these stories?
I think I was just on a death thing here.
In South Africa, the people are, because that's where the people were mauled, the poachers were mauled South
right.
Africa.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Johannesburg.
I went through an Alaska story there.
That's a dangerous place, though.
Yeah.
And there was something about one of those missing fiancés or new engaged couples, newly married couples. Remember a couple years ago? Some American kids are in trouble. A man was killed by a woman. She had a big trial. South Africa. Anyway, apparently quite dangerous place, South Africa. Things don't follow the rules there.
Well,
you know where else you might find...
Trump would say, well, it's just everywhere's dangerous.
Yeah, you know why? Because we were letting those immigrants in.
Yeah.
Did you hear that line he said the other day? If we abolish ICE, you won't be able to safely walk out of your house.
It's just crazy.
It's madness. Like, I get it that he's just spitballing. He's just throwing pitches wildly. But that kind of reflexive, what would I say about removing the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency is you won't be able to leave your house safely. If we don't have borders, it would be run amok. The only thing keeping this country from being a near fallen state of danger on the streets is that we are keeping bad people out of our southern border. How can
that be true and us be overrun by immigrants at the same time?
Great point.
I mean,
which is it?
Right. I mean, either it could
because if we're overrun by immigrants, why is it not?
Yeah.
Did you see that tweet that guy had? He said, if it's true, if all the people that Mexico is sending here are rapists and murderers and whatever the other third category was.
And damn, they can make some good Chinese food?
And you're afraid they're going to take your job? You have to ask yourself,
exactly.
What kind of job do you have if the drug dealers and the rapists are also going to take your jobs? Like,
exactly.
Which is it? Is it such a powerful workforce that's being sent in that they're going to drive you out of business, or they're ravaging animals that are going to destroy all the things if we have more?
I mean, there's just such a disconnect in that guy's. And so I guess so many people's minds. Here's my fear, Doug. Like you would think. I mean, there's a large population of legal, Latin American immigrants, the Mexican immigrants. Is Mexico considered Latin America? I don't know. That's how dumb I am. But so you would think that this would enrage these people to vote liberally against this because he's talking about them. I mean, the legal immigrant who's been here for 25 years and who's raised a family and who's built a business, this is what he thinks of you. That they won't do that. They won't vote against Trump because of the whole abortion baby issue. They'll be like,
they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, you're saying.
Just that Catholic notion, influenced ideal that we're going to have to vote for him, in order, because that's the more important thing.
So I only have a couple anecdotes that I think might offer a different perspective on that from my conversations with people who've immigrated following the capricious set of rules and laws. I don't like to even refer to them as legal and illegal. Those who chose to follow the capricious set of laws and got a break enough to be able to do so. They would say the fact that we followed the system and did it right cost us something, and other people should have to as well, point one. So it doesn't seem fair that they just jumped the line and got in front of us by coming into the country. And secondly, they would say it says something. It's their argument I've heard from people, is it says something if they won't follow the rules. That means they're inherently proven by their actions not rule followers. Therefore, they are the kinds of people who will break other laws because they're have shown themselves to be essentially lawless. So their argument
modern
is
thinking.
The difference is those who follow the rules are of one kind, and those who don't are of another kind. Now, and I think what matters in all of that is not to put the blame on people from Mexico or Guatemala or Honduras, but we, in our society, we tend to do this. We say, if you follow the rules and the laws, you're a good person. If you don't, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
So what Trump has done is he said, well, they didn't follow the rules, so they're bad people. So Mexico, by definition, is sending us their bad people. Right. And so where you solve that problem is not only in our broken immigration mentality, but in the notion that people who break the law are bad people. Because we give exceptions all the time to people we know who do a bad thing. So rarely does someone say, Martha Stewart, really bad person. She went to jail for the crimes that she committed. But rarely does somebody say like, oh, I mean, all honesty, I mean, she's just, I mean, really that kind of person, really bad person. Or if your brother-in-law or sister-in-law has a DUI, we don't tend to act like they're such a horror. We do this weird kind of applying goodness and badness to people. And that's what's happening in this debate. So even within the immigration communities, there's people who not only maintain their support of abortion, but kind of a sensibility of good and bad people. And I think that's where some of this damage comes.
Yeah, that's really troubling. Here, I just lost my train of thought.
There ain't no good guys. There ain't no bad guys. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. You know that song? That's a song lyric.
Yeah.
Hey, Saturn's moon, which I have to admit I didn't think about Saturn having a moon. Mm-hmm. Enceladus is a place that is able to inhabit life. Mm. Apparently, the researchers have said the big question is not, is it able to be inhabited? The question only is if it is inhabited with life. Apparently, there's an ocean. You just rolled your eyes. You just rolled your eyes. Look, hang on. Let me finish this thought because I want to hear about this life thing. They found a frozen ocean, and below the ocean, they found liquid water. And they're like, oh, baby, that's the Petri dish we've been looking for on another formation, in this case, a moon. But why rolling your eyes about life on other planets?
I mean, I'm not rolling. Well,
yeah, come on.
Okay, that's just okay. These, how do they know this? From like looking at what? Like,
okay.
Right. I mean, do we have a thing on that fucking moon that is drilled into the ice and has a handful of Saturn shrimp?
When a massive saltwater ocean was found hidden beneath the icy crust of Saturn's moon back in 2015, astronomers were cautiously optimistic that this watery world could have just the right conditions to host life. Now, thanks to a new study, that moon stock has gone way up. Using data from a dead spacecraft, an international team of astronomers has for the first time discovered complex organic carbon-containing molecules that are the building block for life spewing from the moon. The new finding, described in a paper published on June 27th in the journal Nature, makes the small icy moon the most promising place beyond Earth to find life in the solar system. The moon's subsurface ocean is a habitable place. The big question is if it is inhabited. Frank Postberg, a planetary scientist at the University of Heidelberg in Germany and the study's lead author, told NBC News in March in an email. That's what the story says. In an email. Like the person from NBC News couldn't just like hop on a Skype call with him as well and be like, hey, Dr. Postberg, can we talk about this? Like they had an email exchange became enough for an article.
What's the point of telling me the mode of communication?
Yeah, for us here, yeah. They're like, maybe they're hedging the fact that, hey, look, I read it somewhere. I read it in an email from a guy.
I got this email.
Apparently, using data from a dead spacecraft.
Okay.
So somehow they've landed something there. And now they're analyzing that data. So I think to your question, did they send a little hand down through the ocean and pull up a handful of Saturn moon shrimp, which would actually be a great name for a band? Mm-hmm. Apparently they've done exactly that.
Well, what's wrong?
I've got a sneeze coming.
Really? Oh, watch this, people.
What is going on? Today, all of a sudden, after last night, it's just a
You
cascade.
hate sneezing, don't
so
you, Doug?
much. Could you see the angst coming up? I'm like, yeah.
You hating sneezing,
I
okay,
hate
is
sneezing
like
so
someone who likes ejaculating but not orgasming.
What's the connection to those two things? Well, I'm not between ejaculating and what's the connection between that and my not liking sneezing?
Like you hate giving control over to your body
I
do
see.
this
I see.
thing, which could be so pleasurable and so relieving in that achoo.
Oh,
But yeah, you want the sneeze to go away. You want the ejaculation, but you don't want the orgasm.
yeah. I have this whole thing that I think we should swap out what we say about sneezing and what we say about a belch, burping. I think we
Okay.
should switch the response.
Tell me more.
Right now, as I did sneeze the other day on an airplane, which, I mean, honestly, I'm the guy that sneezed on an airplane. Just think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm shoulder to shoulder. Fortunately, I was in the aisle, so I was shoulder to shoulder with the guy on my right side.
Yeah.
People in front of me, it's 12 inches of aisle space, and then another person in a full airplane that's going to recycle the air. And I get a sneeze coming, and I have no towel or napkin or anything, so I'm just sort of hunching over and have to sort of sneeze down into my leg area. Just the worst, right? And I don't like it anyway. So I sneeze, and of course the kind woman, row in front against the window, turns back through the place and says, "Well, God bless you." Yeah, very, very nice of her. I think a religious woman.
Make sure no demons jumped into your mouth and
I
said, sneeze there.
Yeah, and I'm thinking she's just worried about my general health and wants to be sure that I'm endowed with the Creator's good care.
Maybe.
So, had I belched, I would have had to say, "Excuse me, pardon me." All I'm doing on a belch is releasing air. When I sneezed, I sent pods of
aerosolized.
It was an airborne
macrophages.
disease instantly. And for that act of spewing about, I'm given a God bless you.
Yeah.
I
if you belch, you'd be like, "You disgusting pig."
I said thank you, but I'm so sorry. Where if someone belches, I feel like someone should say, "Hey, I really hope everything's okay in your digestion. God bless you." Instead of having to apologize for that, we need to flip those. And frankly, I should be so I'm sorry for sneezing in your presence.
Well, it's like when someone says "excuse me" after they belch, it's kind of like, "What, you didn't see that coming?" Like you couldn't say, "Excuse me, I'm going to belch."
Yes.
It's usually, "Oh, excuse me.
whoopsie
I didn't mean it
daisy."
to be that much of a whopper."
Yeah, that's never happened to me before. Well, this is really a trick. Hey, John, as we finish up, I have a list of 25 things we need to stop doing.
Doug, I don't have time for 25 things.
No, so here's what I thought we would do. You would name, I know because you got to get to work,
Yeah.
and I just love the notion of this.
I'm work nerves in me right now.
It might be the 2 Red Bull cans that are sitting here right now.
Oh, there's that.
Of the 25 things, I thought you could pick a couple of numbers between 1 and 25. And in the self-help piece of advice for today, I would encourage you.
These are not in order of importance.
Well,
number 16.
It's hard to know because looking at number 1, it certainly seems like that would be something that would be.
Or is it from the least obvious to the most obvious, as your articles tend to be?
Okay, we'll get to number 16 in a minute. Let's tell you what number 1 is.
Okay.
Number 1
What is
of
it?
the 25 things you should stop doing to have a more happy and satisfied life.
Okay.
Number 1, stop arguing about things that you have absolutely no knowledge about. There goes the podcast. Point 2, stop your pod. Item 2, stop your podcast.
Well, who wrote this? An Enneagram 1?
All right, number 16. Stop stealing children's bikes or anyone's bikes or frankly stealing anything at all unless you're starving and truly desperate. Just stop stealing. Number 16. Give me 2 more.
This was written by a 7-year-old? What shouldn't you do? What shouldn't people do, Johnny? They shouldn't steal my bikes.
It is a Reddit compilation of what the advice people have. So everyone's what's your one piece
So there's
of
like
advice?
some hipster who's like, people should really stop stealing bikes. I mean, I'm sorry.
If you think that
voice,
that hipsters use Reddit, then probably.
Yeah, how old am I now?
All right, I think they do use Reddit. All right, what else you got? Numbers. That was number 16.
Well then, let's go number 5.
Oh, that's a good number. It's a good solid number. Number 5 things to stop doing. Stop taping concerts on your cell phones or your iPads. Just knock it off. Do you ever go to a show and somebody holds up their phone to record?
Yeah.
And when they hold up their iPad, honestly, have you seen that?
No.
Oh, I have.
Well, yeah, at your Bruce Springsteen concerts, all those fogies don't know how to operate their phones.
Right,
they still got flip phones, but they got iPads.
Stop talking about things, or stop arguing about things you know nothing about. Stop stealing people's bikes or, frankly, stealing any other things. Mm-hmm. When you're at a concert, stop recording things with your phone or especially your iPad. And number 4, on the list of 4 things to do out of 25.
It'd be, let's go with
1 through 25. There's a lot of numbers.
Let's go number 22.
Oh, I love it. Into the 20s. Stop teaching advanced show-off yoga poses when you're teaching an all-levels class without adequate preparation. Like, the thing I love about this list is it's everyone's, like, the thing you really want to have stop. You want to stop happening in the world.
Oh, you want someone else to stop doing.
And somebody's like, oh, you know what really, this kind of thing we'd bring up. You know what really eats at me?
Yeah.
When you're in a yoga class and it's like a beginner all levels class and the person teaches advanced poses. It's unbelievable. But I will tell you, I would when I was in Mexico in February, I went to a yoga class on the beach.
Yeah.
And I popped a rib out because the guy put us into like scorpion and my rib hurt well, actually, it still hurts to this day. But it hurt deeply for months. And Shelley said, oh, they should stop teaching those advanced poses. So maybe it was my wife.
If the time comes where I see that on the horizon as something that I'm feeling compelled to do, I will take to heart that maybe that's something that I should not do.
At some point in your job, because this is 2018 and you're going to have this job at least through the end of the year, they're going to offer a company-wide or building-wide yoga fitness class.
And they're going to ask me to teach it?
No, you're going to go and you're going to say to yourself, I don't think this person should be teaching these advanced poses. This is a beginner level class.
Yeah, sounds like every math class I ever went into.
Hey, good morning, John.
Good morning, Doug.
See you next week.
All right, I got to literally run.
I want to see you run up the stairs like you're in a Stairmaster class.
I'll trip on the 4th stair and face.
Hey, thanks everybody for listening. John, literally, I mean, he's so earnest right now to get to work on time.
I gotta go.
He's standing up. He's reaching across the room. I'll take care of the rest of this.
I gotta make
donuts. You just go about your business.
All right.
You just go and impress that boss of yours.
Okay.
Hey, remember
that can away for me?
Sure. Remember, the new boss is the same as the old boss.
That's right. Adios, America.
Everybody, really do appreciate you listening to this podcast, and we truly love it. All your comments, if you're still listening, and you've told us in any way, status updates, personal messages, text messages, anything you appreciate, this little banter in the morning means a whole lot to us. It's keeping us going. So thanks.